श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधार्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु महाभागवत शिल गोक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। नित्याल्प विश्व शुद्ध सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्याल्प विश्व वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौरिय गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी गंग देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। जय श्री चतुर्मास्य व्रत की जाय। व्रत पालन करी भक्त वृंद की जाय। जय श्री भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की jai. All the associates of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the disciples and followers of those associates ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. We'll do the Mangalacharan and then I will see who's joined. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gaudiya Gaurvanvaye Bhatto Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Bharat Mingilo Daragatan Udrita Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhuntam Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudhanidhim Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusutte Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindayai Tulsi Devai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's recite Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Pranam Mantra now. 1 second, let me just... Where is it? Oh, there it is. Devang Devyatanung Suchanda Vadanam Palarkachelanchitam Sandrananda Purang Sareka Varanang Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanang Varam Vande Tang Shubhadang Mareka Sharanam Nyasishvaram Śrīdharam. I offer my obeisance unto my Lord Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja, whose speech is most pleasing, whose divine form is adorned with garments the color of the newly risen sun, who is an abode of intense ecstatic devotion, who is the sadhu's sole choice, who is an ocean of renunciation and knowledge, who is a treasure house of perfect conclusions, who is resplendent with pure devotion, who is the best of Srila Saraswati Thakur's followers, who is the giver of all good, who is the leading general of the Tridandi sannyasis, and who is my sole shelter. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Right, Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. I see Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Champak Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, and on YouTube and Facebook, Raseshwari Mataji, I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there, Ganga Mataji, and I don't know who else is there. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. Also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Revati Didi, Manjari Didi, Krishna Rose, anybody else? Haribol. All right, so, and I sometimes I say this, but yeah, if you are watching in the future, if you leave a comment, then yeah, it's nice to know who's joining. I'll also mention your name if I know who you are. So, all right. So we are continuing our reading of Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's biography. 1 second. And where are we actually? Let me just see. Okay, it's here. So we're like almost 2/3 through. Okay, I'm not going to back up so far like we did the other days. Let's start from here. This is nice. Oh, actually, yeah, it's better to start here. This is when Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada enters Nitya Leela. So, just one day prior to departing this world at 5:30 a.m., 1st January 1937, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, from his sickbed, especially selected and requested Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj to sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada for him, his most beloved song of the deepest divine service. This is well known as the most venerated and adored prayer of the entire Gaudiya Sampradaya. Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja recalls, "At that time, I was not accustomed to leading the kirtan. I was hesitating. Shri Yukta Kunjababu, later Shripad Bhaktivilas Tirtha Maharaj, asked one brahmachari, he said, 'Prabhu, you go on singing.' Then he began singing, but Prabhupada felt dissatisfaction. He said, 'I don't want to hear the tone or sweet sound.' Then that brahmachari Prabhu stopped, and I had to sing Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. The other devotees present said then that Srila Prabhupada had thereby given him admission into the Ras Seva section. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj says, "When I entered Sri Gaudiya Math, I received Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's small Bengali book, Sharanagati, for the very first time. It was so sweet to me that I purchased several copies and distributed them among my friends. Its price was only 4 paise. It is so sweet, it touched my heart. I thought, here is Krishna. Krishna Katha is Krishna himself. Here is talk about Krishna, the Adhokshaj, the transcendental. I later composed a short commentary when I was in Nandagram, and it is published along with Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary in Bengali. I wrote an introductory poem to the commentary of Sharanagati, and it's called the Laghu Chandrika commentary. I wrote an introductory poem to the commentary of Sharanagati, and this is it. Swairacharabdi sammagnan jivan gorangri pankaje udritya sharanapatter mahatmyam samabhodayat. All the conditioned souls are samagnan. They are diving or struggling in the ocean of swairachar, or pleasure-seeking. Anyabilash, immoral or whimsical activities energizing there. And then he says, Gorangri pankaje udrita. But taking them out of that ocean, you brought them in the lotus. You took them to the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga. You collected them from the wide, troubled ocean and gave them to the ocean and you gave them to the lotus feet of Gauranga. Udrita Sharanapater Mahatmyam Samabhodayat. And so, having placed them there, you began to instruct them about the great nobility of and high value of Sharanagati, exclusive surrender. Samabhodhayat. You tried to make them understand and realize the efficacy of Sharanagati proper. You, my Gurudev, you, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, did so. So I bowed down unto you first. And Hare Krishna Shasharmaji. I already mentioned Ganga Mataji, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Okay, so we went yesterday. This is where we ended with. We watched a video of Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja. He's explaining this verse that he composed. He's sharing it with our Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And yeah. It's the first audio recording that I heard Śrīla Prabhupada say Radha Dasyam. I mean, like in a directly the words Radha Dasyam. I'm sure there are other places like where he talks about Radha Dasyam, but it's just nice to hear him say Radha Dasyam. Okay, so Shri Gauranumatang Swarupa Viditang Rupa Grajenda Rupa Grajendritam Rupadhyay pariveshitang raghuganar ashvaditam sevitam jivadyar abhirakshitang shukas shiva brahmadi sangmanitam Shri Radha Parasevanamritamaho Tad Dhatumisho Bhavan. What was sanctioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his descent was intimately known only to Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami. It was adored by Sanatan Goswami and served by Rupa Goswami and his followers. Raghunath Das Goswami tasted that wonderful thing fully and enhanced it with his own realization. And Jiva Goswami supported and protected it by quoting the scriptures from different places. The taste of that divine truth is aspired for by Brahma, Shiva, and Uddhav, who respect it as the supreme goal of life. What is this wonderful truth? Shri Radha Pada Sevana, that the highest nectar of our life is the service of Srimati Radharani. This is most wonderful. O Bhakti Vinod Thakur, you are our master. It is within your power to allow them to bestow their grace upon us. You are in a position to bestow the highest gift ever known to the world upon us all. It is at your disposal. O Bhakti Vinod Thakur, please be kind to us and grant us your mercy. Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarked, a very happy style. And then he said to Shripad Shoti Maharaj, this poem is so fine. It is not written by him. It is written by Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur himself and has come out through him. It is so appreciable. Once he said to Sri Yukta Aprakrit Prabhu, he said, I'm satisfied that what I came to say will remain after me. I find in this shloka, in this verse, the Siddhanta. Before this also, he wrote an article for the spiritual newspaper, Nadia Prakash, or the Dainik Nadia Prakash. And Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta remarked to Shripad Shaman Maharaj, who is the editor, he said, if you can gather this type of article to publish in your paper, the standard of your paper will be raised. Such articles are desirable to be published. And there are many other instances. After the disappearance of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada and the breakup of the Gaudiya Math, there were trustees appointed by him, and he had said to make a governing body. But unfortunately, there were many discrepancies, and the mission could not be kept together. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj stayed for perhaps a year, while some of his godbrothers were quarreling and fighting. Some were even sent to jail. Yes, we know about that. That was our Param Gurudev was sent to jail, along with Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu and a whole. There are more details in the Śrīla Bhakti Goswami Maharaj biography book. But yeah, he tried his best to purify the movement according to his conscience. But it was not to be so, and so he left silently. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj was not very enthusiastic to preach at that time, and did not want to make another mission, and therefore went alone to Vrindavan, staying at Govardhan for a month, and he completed the Urja Vrat there, Kartik Vrat. The devotees then lost track of him, but they were very enthusiastic to take him preaching, so they repeatedly searched in many places to try to locate him. Srila Govinda Maharaj, Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj recalls, after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, the Gaudiya Math started to go in an unexpected way. Therefore, many of the prominent personalities left. When Srila Guru Maharaj came out from the Gaudiya Math, then about 50% of the senior devotees also left. Everyone in the mission had much respect for Srila Guru Maharaj. Therefore, when he left, they also left. Some of the devotees who withdrew from the Gaudiya Math at that time were Hayagriva Brahmachari, that's Srila Bhakti Madhava Goswami Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj, who is Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, who is the in charge of preaching in the West. My Param Gurudev, well, I mean, I'm quoting him, but Srila Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, who is then Vinod Bihari Brahmachari. He was the estate manager in charge of commanding Srila Prabhupada's central math, Chaitanya Math, Mayapur. And then Narahari Prabhu, Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, the advisory manager of Chaitanya Math. And then Srila Bhakti Kushal Narasingha Goswami Maharaj. He is the uncle of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. I was just working on an article yesterday, well, proofreading an article yesterday where it talks about Param Gurudev's separation from the festival that they celebrated for Srila Bhakti Kusum Narasingha Maharaj and Keshavji Gaudiya Math. Then Jajavar, Srila Bhakti Vichar, right? It's Bhakti Vichar, Jajavar Goswami Maharaj. And then, what's the title for him? Anyways, Vaikanas Maharaj. Oh, shoot, can't think of it right now. As well as many others. So all these associates of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, they all left. Is it Bhakti Gaurav Vaikanas Maharaj? Anyways, so most of the stalwarts left the mission. Only 3 stayed. Nishikanta Sanyal, Bhakti Sudakash Prabhu. He was a man of great personality, and Sundarananda Vidya Vinod, the editor and publisher of the Gaudiya magazine, as well as of many of the books of the Gaudiya Math. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta, he did much seva at that time. He eventually went against Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and even wrote a book against his teachings and like that. But before that point, he did a lot of very valuable service in the publication department, many books and like that. So yeah, we still use some of his books he compiled the Upakyani Upadesh and many other things like that. So we still, but yeah, and then our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he wrote I think maybe 24 articles completely destroying Sundarananda Vidya Vinod's, this Apasiddhanta and these, anyways, yeah, that's a whole thing. Okay, so by the mercy of Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta, he did much seva at that time. When Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj went to stay alone, he was fully aware that his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, did not like Nirjan Bhajan, the separate practicing life. We have that whole entire song, Dushtaman Tumi Ki Ser Vaishnav. I actually just recently went over that song also, prepared it for the Gaudiya Giti Gucha. He liked that devotees would associate together and engage in kirtan. But to live in an association would mean there must be preaching, and many newcomers will join. But who will give them initiation? Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj was asked by some leading members to take the position of Acharya. But from the beginning, he had no impression or inspiration to do so. He thought, I'm going to take my shelter in Navadvip Dham permanently. But Dhameshwar, the master of the Dham, is Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, before going to Mahaprabhu's birthplace, I must visit Nityananda Prabhu's birthplace at Ekachakra and beg his permission. If he is propitiated, then I may live in Navadvip Dham safely. Otherwise, it will be impossible. Heno nitai vine bhai, Radha Krishna paite nai. By the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, we shall receive the grace of Gauranga, and by the grace of Gauranga, we shall receive the grace of Radha Govinda. Narottam Das Thakur's Manashiksha, that's interesting. Anyways, that's in Prarthana, in the section called Nityananda Nishta, right? Okay. So anyhow, he took Giridhari, his Govardhan Shila, from Vrindavan to the banks of the Ganga at Kolarganj, Navadvip, West Bengal. He stayed alone and did not go out even to beg. Mani Babu, his next younger brother, was a divisional superintendent in the Eastern Railway. Every month he gave 10 rupees to Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja, with which he maintained himself. Thus he did not go out to beg. He lived in a house named Magar Badi, near to what is now Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and he paid 2 rupees per month rent. He kept Giridhari on a small throne in that rented room and stayed there. During the daytime, he read the Shastra and would cook something just once in a day, offer to Giridhari, and then take some prasadam. In the evening, he would also take a little prasadam. And from evening, he would take the holy name, he would chant the holy name, and after finishing the chanting of 1 lakh, he would go to bed. And Haribo Chatamai Mataji and Vidyalala Sadidi, Hare Krishna. At that time, when going through the books of Srila Jiva Goswami, he found he had written that those who have money but do not spend it for the Lord, they commit Vitta Shatya. What's Vitta Shatya means? Similarly, those who have some knowledge and experience about bhakti, about Krishna and the devotees, but do not like to help others, they commit Gyan Shatya. Why does it not mention Shatya? Shatya is a very familiar word. Let's look it up really quick. Shatya. Where do I know that word? Shatya. What verse is it in? Shatya. Anyways, let's just look in. Where is it? Sanskrit dictionary. Vitta we came across recently. I think it's in this. Yeah, it's in the Bhajanahasya. But anyhow, let's see. I don't know which one's when. Okay, let's look up Shatya. But yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't give it a definition. Shatya. Let's see if anything comes up. Shatya means wickedness, deceit, roguery, dishonesty, guile. So wickedness, deceit, guile, and what was the word? Vitta? Vitta is known, understood. I don't know. Wealth. I think it's this one right here. Acquisition, wealth, property, goods, substance, money, power. So there's one is the wickedness of wealth, and the other is the wickedness of knowledge. So it's like wicked wealth and wicked knowledge, I'm guessing. Anyhow, okay, so they commit Vitta Shatya. Similarly, those who have some knowledge or experience about bhakti, about Krishna and the devotees, but do not like to help others, they commit Gyan Shatya. At the same time, he had in his memory from his early days a story from the Puranas, where it is mentioned that a particular Brahman was a big scholar, but he gave no education or help to anyone. As a result, in his next life, he received the body of a mango tree, which bore many beautiful fruits. but not even a single bird would touch them. Then one day, Anantadev noticed the tree while on his way to see God. When he inquired about it, the Lord replied, "He was a great pundit, but he did not instruct or give his share of learning to anybody. He was so miserly in his scholarship that in his next birth, he was put in such a position as this tree." Another thing also came to his mind, that a doctor is not omniscient, but should he or she not try, oh God, I'm just gonna say he every time because this is too awkward. It's like too many times it comes up. So, but should he not try his best to cure a patient? As much as he has the capacity, he must try to help. Otherwise, the world will be at a standstill. It is not that everyone will say, "Only if I have complete and full knowledge will I approach to help another." But that is not possible in this world. Everyone has some relative position. With this also coming to his mind, he began in a mild way to help. He decided not to engage on a broader scale to preach and make disciples, but that if anyone would come, then he would try to educate them in his spiritual line in the minimum way, or to initiate. With this spirit, he took his position, remembering the inspiration from Patita Pavan Nityananda Prabhu that came to him. You must try your best to help those that, in your consideration, are fallen. Wow, imagine being in Navadvip at that time and you could just Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Gosvāmī is just there, ready to help you at any time. But unknown to anyone, he went to Navadvip, but gradually his godbrothers searched for him. And finding him, they began to visit now and then and would bring some gift or so, with some godbrothers staying. Again, they tried to make another mission with his association. While staying in that Magar body, two of his godbrothers were enthusiastic to stay with him. It later turned out that their thinking was that if they could help him start another mission, then in due course of time, they would inherit it. It was their understanding from his horoscope that he would not live for more than 58 years. He lived till what, 93 was it? I forgot. Furthermore, his health was not very strong, and 3 or 4 times each month, he would be very sick with severe headaches. That house has since been demolished. Anyhow, Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja again engaged himself in preaching, but in a limited way. And on one occasion, he engaged in Bhagavat Pat, lecturing on Srimad Bhagavatam for 1 month in the temple at the king of Manipur's palace. Oh, cool. That's right next to Devananda Gaudiya Math. Just like right near that, right across the street almost. Then Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Śrīla Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, and Śrīla Bhakti Kushal Narasingha Goswami Maharaj, they all took sannyas. They were the first 3 sannyas disciples of Śrīla Śrīdhara Goswami Maharaj. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that Śrīla Bhakti Kushal Narasingha Maharaj and Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj both took sannyas from Śrīla Śrīdhara Goswami Maharaj. I only know about our Param Gurudev. And with them, the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti was started there at the Devananda Gaudiya Math. But again, some differences came between the devotees. It was Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja's nature to stay alone. So when again some differences came, he gave everything to Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, who had become head of the Devananda Gaudiya Math. By their requests, Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja also conferred the holy order of sannyas upon many of his other exalted eminent godbrothers, including Śrīla Bhakti Alok Paramahansa Maharaj, Śrīla Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj. I don't know which Bhagavat Maharaj this is, but Śrīla Bhagavat Maharaj, Śrīla Acharya Maharaj, etc. Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj lived for some time with Śrīla Bhakti. I can't say my Brahma Gurude's name without saying the full title. So Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Gosvāmī Mahārāja in that rented house. And sometimes in Medinipur Math with high people like Śrīla Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Śrīla Bhakti Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja and others. Actually, yeah, I'm going to just keep on saying Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja because I don't think it's totally, I don't feel comfortable with saying Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja. So at that time, Shri Yukta Saki Charan Rai Babu, a godbrother of Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja, offered to buy him some land. Saki Babu was a great disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who had done much service in Chaitanya Math. He did many things for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, including the building of the Yogapit Mandir, and also the Bhakti Vijay Bhavan. Bhakti Vijay Bhavan is right in front of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's Samadhi, right? It's that building right before it. He bought, and that's where his room was, his Bhajan Kutir was in the Bhakti Vijay Bhavan. He brought there electricity, a generator, and a road also. It was this Saki Babu who told Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja, if you choose a piece of land, I shall give the money to purchase it. And he did. Before he went to Vrindavan, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja had it in mind not to stay there, feeling that Vrindavan was for the higher devotees, considering himself of lower order. The fallen should take shelter under Mahaprabhu at Aparad Bhanjan Pat, the place where all offenses are forgiven in Navadvip. And so it was a foregone conclusion that he would take his shelter in Navadvip and not in Vrindavan. Other reasons why he chose the land where Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math now stands for his bhajan ashram are possibly because he knew this area is known as Gupta Govardhan. It is the hidden Govardhan hill of Vrindavan, concealed in Sri Navadvip Dham. Close to Govardhan Hill in Vrindavan is Manasa Ganga, and in Navadvip it is the Ganga. Govinda Kund in Navadvip is also there, in remembrance of Govinda Kund by Govardhan. In Govardhan, the Leela of Krishna goes on in many ways. And in Navadvip also, the Leela of Gandharva Govinda Sundar takes place. The pastimes of the Lord near Govinda Kund of Vrindavan are happening in Navadvip. He also saw Koladvip as the Kshetra, the land of Lakshmi Varahadev. Kola means Varahadev. In 1941, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja made a thatched house measuring about 20 feet long by 12 feet wide. In the very early days of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, Satish Prabhu was the very first person to happily stay on the land, and he helped Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja make the thatched house. Satish Prabhu also helped much with the cultivation in Singhajuli, the land used to cultivate rice for the math. At first, there was not even a bed, but with some bamboo, Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja presently constructed two. It was perhaps a year later that the brahmacharis came and built a house out of bamboo with a corrugated tin roof. Giridhari was in a thatched room measuring about 6 feet by 10 feet, made by Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja beside his own room. Its picture is on the front of his Gaudiya Gitanjali book of bhajans. Okay. Huh. I have that book, Gaudiya Gitanjali, in Navadvip. After maybe 2 years, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's present building was constructed. On Ratha Yatra of 1942, he founded his own temple known as Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. On the very first day, after he personally chose and purchased a very long and strong bamboo pole, he hoisted a white flag on that tall bamboo flagstaff on the spot where the temple now stands. In 1945, Mahaprabhu was installed and joined Giridhari on the altar. The morning, noon, and evening aratis, along with the other programs, were going on, just as at present. The programs were held on the veranda. Even when Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat was just 2 thatched houses, there would be many people coming to attend the festivals and to take prasadam. Srila Śrīdhara Mahārāja's nature was always to compose something, and he composed many shlokas. When he started Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, he immediately posed the following shloka. Okay, let me make this wide. I have no idea what the meter for this is. Let's see. Srimad Chaitanya Saraswata Mata. No. Srimad Chaitanya Saraswata Matavara. Oh, I think I got it. Actually, I'm gonna just put this in the, I'm not getting it right away. I'm just gonna put it in this thing right here. Where is it? Probably could have figured it out by now, but whatever. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, I think it's not divided. It's all just like one thing. That's why I'm having a difficult time. That's frustrating. Anyways, I'm just gonna recite it in any way because it's all one line. You know what I mean? It's not divided into things. So Srimad Chaitanya Saraswata Matavara Udgita Kirti Jayashim Biprat Sambhati Ganga Tata Nikata Navadvipa Koladri Raje Yatra Shri Gora Saraswata Mata Nirata Gora Gata Grananti Shri Madrupa Nuga Shri Kritamati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha. Sorry, I wish I could have said it in the proper meter, but on the banks of the Ganga, in Koladweep, Navadweep, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat stands resplendent. The flag flies high, singing its glories around the world. There, the residents chant the glories of Lord Gauranga and aspire to serve Shri Shri Radha Govinda in the line of Shri Rupa. One day, his godbrother Saki Babu, after hearing this verse, jokingly told his other godbrothers, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja has nothing except a thatched house, but he has erected a very long bamboo pole with a flag on top, and has then composed this grand shloka. But Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja said to him, "You will see in the future what will be here. What will be here." Construction began on the temple in 1955, after the first group of brahmacharis left to start their own mission. At one Gaura Purnima time, one big donor visited Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. His name was Kishori Mohan Das Vairagya. His name is on the first of the marble plaques beside the mandir. With his promise to give 10 or 12,000 rupees, a lot of money at that time, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja started the construction. A little later, when Kishori Babu left his body, only the ground floor of the temple had been completed. At this time, the Koladweep Adipati, the master of Koladweep, Lakshmi Varahadev, in the form of a Shaligram Shila deity, came there gradually by his wish. He was living like a king. That Shaligram Shila, I guess. He was living like a king in a Brahman's house, from where he came here from Śrīla Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Goswami Maharaj and Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. When he first arrived there, it was uncertain what type of Shaligram Shila had come. But under the instruction of Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj, Śrīla Govinda Maharaj searched the Garuda Puran to identify the name of the Shaligram Shila according to his markings. From that, he considered him to be Lakshmi Varahadev. In order to double-check Śrīla Govinda Mahārāja's conclusion, Śrīla Śrīdhara Mahārāja wrote a letter to the Brahmin who had been caring for him. He replied confirming that the Shaligram he replied confirming the Shaligram to indeed be Lakshmi Varahadev. He also mentioned in his reply that if a Brahman brahmachari will serve him, then he will be very happy. Hearing this, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja told his disciples, arrange for Lakshmi Varahadev to have special sweet rice, param anna, every day. In that way, he will be happy, and the mutt will be very peaceful. Since that day, a Brahman brahmachari has always been doing his worship and daily offering paramanna, a sweet rice. The temple took about 20 years to build, and when it was completed in 1973, there was still no Natya Mandir. There's no, like, Natya Mandir, the building in front of the temple where everybody does kirtan in front of Thakurji, yeah. The dancing hall is basically that's the meaning of Natya Mandir. But around 1975, another donation came from a lady devotee of Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja, who promised 5,000 rupees towards the construction of the Natya Mandir, or Nat Mandir. Another devotee, Banowari Lal Singhania, wanted to fulfill the wish of Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja to make a double-story kitchen building. The houses where Srimati Krishnamai Didi and Shankar Didi used to live were constructed about 1963, as was a third house where Dharma Didi used to stay. After her son and daughter became self-sufficient, Krishnamai Didi had donated her property and land, the proceeds of which were used to build these houses and to buy agricultural land, which was used to grow rice and vegetables for the mutt. There's a lot of details about the mutt. Okay. At first, the mutt's land area was 1 acre with only a few trees, 3 mango trees, 2 guava trees, and 1 more. One of the 3 original mango trees left its body on the very same day as Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's disappearance. Within 24 hours, all its leaves fell off. Wow. Gradually, the mutt's land area increased during the time the temple was being built. Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja himself planted the compound hedge and he did much other physical laboring work around the mutt. A new group of brahmacharis came to stay after the first group of brahmacharis left, which was mainly made up of the direct disciples of Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja. That new group consisted of Krishna Sharan Prabhu, who is the first initiated disciple, later to become Bhakti Purusun Aranya Maharaj. Then Hari Charan Prabhu, the young boy Shri Gorendu Brahmachari, later Shri Par Govinda Maharaj, as well as another 2 or 3 devotees. They would stay there and also go preaching house to house to tell people about Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja and to beg alms. This was first begun by Śrīla Bhakti Vijay Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Gosvāmī Mahārāja, who all helped Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja after the first group of brahmacharis left Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt. Every year, Śrīla Madhusudan Gosvāmī Mahārāja would go to collect for the festivals, and sometimes Śrīla Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja would also go with them. Each of these sannyasis had their own mission, but they collected funds for Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Śrīla Madhusudan Gosvāmī Mahārāja's mission is in Burdwan. Śrīla Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja has 2 or 3, and also Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Mahārāja has many mutts. The first party from Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt to go on Navadip Dham Parikrama was started by Śrīla Govinda Maharaj. At that time, only 2 other parties did Navadip Dham Parikrama, Śrīla Bhakti Brighan Keshav Gosvāmī Maharaj and the Mayapur Mutt. Śrīla Bhakti Saranga Gosvāmī Maharaj and Śrīla Jajavar Gosvāmī Maharaj and Śrīla Madhusudan Gosvāmī Maharaj joined with the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt Parikrama party, along with their many disciples and followers. Their parties were big, and temporary tents were put up for their accommodation. Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja's party consisted of about 200 followers, mainly Grihastha villagers. Śrīla Jajavara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's party was about 100 persons, and Śrīla Madhusūdana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's party would have about 50, and Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat's party would be maybe about 200 persons. Things continued in that way for a few years. After that, Śrīla Madhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīla Bhakti Madhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja also started to make Navadip Dham Parikrama. Then, by the will of Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja made his mat in Mayapur, the Nandan Acharya Bhavan temple. It's right before ISKCON. And he too started Navadip Dham Parikrama. Śrīla Jajavara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's party joined with Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Madhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and every year since that time, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat's Parikrama party continued independently. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat also arranged parikramas to other holy places, including yearly visits to Kedarnath, Badarikashram, and Tunganath. The first party of pilgrims were about 54 persons. In charge of the party was 24-year-old Govinda Maharaj. Interesting. He's only 24 years old. And Paramahansa Maharaj. After that, they started various parikrama tours to the holy places of southern India, western India, Puri, Vrindavan, Dwarka, etc. Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja also traveled with them on 3 or 4 occasions. He went on the train tours and also on the pilgrimage by foot to Badarikashram. At that time, the bus ran into the Himalayas all the way up to Rudraprayag, or maybe Chamoli. When they first started, the whole journey by foot was about 286 kilometers, and it took 1 month to complete. Whoa. Amazing. The Gaudiya Mat was founded by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and later Srila Jajavara Gosvāmī Mahārāja and other godbrothers of Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja incorporated the word Gaudiya into the name of their missions, such as Samanda Gaudiya Mat, Devananda Gaudiya Mat, etc. But Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja thought in another way. Our sampradaya was actually started by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is running under his divine direction. Although we are the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, the real conception of Raganuga Bhakti is that first it was shown by Srila Madhavendra Puri, the grand guru of Sri Chaitanya Dev. There the conception was in seed form, but it manifests in the form of a tree in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, bearing in mind the main identification of our sampradaya, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja included the name of Sri Chaitanya in the name of his mat. Therefore, to cover from the beginning to end the identification of the whole sampradaya, Śrīla Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja used the name Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat for his temple and mission. Yeah, it begins from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and goes all the way to Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, so the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So in that name includes the entire Guru Parampara. What time is it? Okay, we have 1 minute left. So close to the end, but anyways, it will probably take us just a few minutes to finish tomorrow. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur preached over the whole of India, but still was not able to preach successfully in this area of Koladweep. Here there are many great pundits who heavily opposed Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, and his preaching, heavily opposed Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and his preaching program. Therefore, Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja wanted to convert that section. Whoa. It says, Srila Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja started to preach in the house of his own aunt, Sarojavasini Devi. That's so neat because our Srila Padam Gurudev's aunt is also Sarojavasini Devi. So they both had the same aunt's names. She was a very popular lady, very famous, and everybody respected her. And her name is also included on a plaque on the side of Mahaprabhu's temple at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. When he started preaching in her house, many members of the opposing group also came to hear and were converted by him and his disciple Shrimati Krishnamai Devi. That party was headed by Shripat Nath Pandit, who was the head of the area of Tegaripada. The Tegaripada area of Navadip used to be famous for its abundant supply of followers of tantric yoga. They were very entrenched in their tantric way of life. But despite this, Krishnamaya Didi preached to them and converted them to Vaishnavism. Srila Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja greatly appreciated this. He proclaimed that she was a Shuddha Bhakta, a pure devotee of the Lord. Okay, so it's now 8 o'clock. We will complete this. It won't take very long to complete, but yeah, we'll complete this tomorrow. We're going to read about Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and his with him and Srila Gosvāmī Mahārāja at that time, I guess. So that will be very nice to read. All right, I'll just do. Okay, so for those of you who are staying for our Chaturmasya program, we're going to go through the Dvitiya Yam Sadhan, which is this time of day, actually. This is the Pratakal from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Well, here in India, at least. So let me just share my screen. Where is it? vineofdevotion.com. One second, I just need to make it Ashtayam Sadhan. And for those of you who have to go now, Dandavat Pranams, thank you for joining. See you tomorrow. And tomorrow, what is our program tomorrow? Just looking at the calendar, I think tomorrow is Raghunandan Thakur's disappearance day. Yeah, so Raghunandan Thakur's disappearance day. That's such a wonderful pastime to read about. So we'll do that. And also, it'll be Srila Vangshidas Babaji Maharaj's disappearance day. So we will read about these two personalities, and we will complete the end of this biography that we're reading about Srila Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Okay. So, Dvitiya Yam Sadhan. So this time of day represents Anartha Nivritti in Sadhu Sangha. This is the first, from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Make this a bit bigger now. Oops. Okay. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrishamiha janinanuraga. So you have in your many names, you have manifested your many names. Nam Nam Akari Bahuda. You've manifested many names. And Tatra, therein, in those names, Arpita, you have invested Nija Sarva Shaktis. You have invested all your own potencies, your entire Shakti. And Smarane, in remembering these names, there's no niyam, there's no rules, regulations, restrictions regarding the time when they may be chanted or when they may be remembered. Smarane, kala. There's no consideration of kal, time. In any situation, any condition, any time. Etadrishi tava kripa, such is tava, your kripa, such is your mercy, O Bhagavan. However, mama, my durdaiva, my misfortune, idrisham, is such. That iha, that here in these names, ajani, nanuraga, no anurag was ajani, was born, was awakened. So now in Chaitanya Charitamrita, these are the three verses that Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote that Mahaprabhu said. Mahaprabhu says, he says to Sarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, he says, Aneka loker vancha, aneka prakar, kripate korilo anek, namer prachar. The desires of the innumerable living entities are of infinite varieties. Therefore, out of compassion, Krishna propagated his countless names. Kaite shuite jatha tata namaloy, kal desh niyam nahi sarva siddhi hoy. Whether eating, sleeping, or being in any situation, there are no restrictions of time, place, or rules in regards to chanting the name. Yet it bestows all perfection, bestows bhakti. Sarva Shakti Name Dila Koriya Vibhag, Amar Durdaiva Name Nahi Anurag. The Lord has invested all his potencies in his names, but my misfortune is that I have no attachment to them. And now the song Tuhu Daya Sagara. Tuhu Daya Sagara Taraite Prane Anamaya Nekotua Shikaoliani Sakala Shakati De Name Tohara Grahane Rakhilo Nahi Kala Vichara Shri Nama Chintamani Tohari Samana Vishwe Bilaoli Karuna Nidana Tuadaya Aichana Paramayudara Atishay Mandanata Bhaga Hamara Nahi Janamalo Name Anuragamora Bhakati Vinora Cheta Dukhe Vibhora. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Gitabali gives this song. You are an ocean of mercy. To deliver the living beings, you have brought and taught your innumerable holy names. You have invested your full potency in your holy names and have made no restrictions regarding time or place. The touchstone of Sri Nam is equal to you. You have distributed this treasure house of mercy throughout the entire creation. Such is your supremely magnanimous compassion, O Lord. But my luck is extremely poor. My anurag for Srinam has never awakened. Thus, the heart of Bhakti Vinod is overcome with sorrow. Now, this is the verse in Bhajanahasya that comes right before the Govinda Lilamrita verse. Ekanta bhaktir matra kirtana smaran anya parve ruchi nahi hoy pravartan. A one-pointed devotee engages only in kirtan and remembrance of Sri Hari. He has no relish for engaging in other topics, no ruchi for anya parve, other topics, pravartan, for engaging in other anya parve. Bhaver sahita hoy Shri Krishna sevan Swarasiki bhav krame hoy uddipan. He serves Shri Krishna with heartfelt emotion, with bhav, and gradually his natural spontaneous devotional mood is Swarasiki bhav becomes awakened. Ekanta bhaktir kriya mudra ragodita tathapi sheshab nahe vidhi viparita. Though the actions and expressions of a one-pointed devotee arise from deep, spontaneous love from rag, they are nonetheless not opposed to scriptural injunctions. Sarva tyaga korileo chara sukatin pratistasha tyage jatna paibe praveen. Even if one gives up everything else, it is extremely difficult to renounce the desire for name and fame, this pratistasha. One who is mature and experienced will strive to diligently give it up. Prabhate gobhir ratre madhyahne sandhyay anartha chariya lo namer ashray. At dawn, in the dead of the night, at midday, and at dusk, one should abandon all anarthas and take shelter of the holy name. Erupe kirtana smarana je kore, Krishna kripa hoy shigra anayase tare. Whoever performs kirtan and smaran in this way receives Krishna's mercy and easily crosses over the ocean of material existence. Shraddha kori sadhu sange Krishna nama loy anartha shakala jai nishta upajai. By chanting Krishna's name with faith, with shraddha, and the association of saints in sadhu sangha, all anarthas are destroyed and firm determination, nishta, arises. Pratakale nitya lila koribe chintan, chintite bhaver hoive sadan. At dawn, one should meditate upon Krishna's eternal pastimes, Krishna's nitya lila. Through continual contemplation, this meditation becomes the means of cultivating and establishing one's bhav. All right, and so now we come to the Govinda Lilamrita verse. Radham snata vibhushitam vrajapaya hutam sakhebi prage targehe vihitana pakarachanam krishnavasheshashanam krishna buddhamavapta dhenu sadanam nirvyuda godohanam susnatam krita bhojanam sahacharais tang chata tang chashraye. In the morning, in the early morning, Prage, Sri Radha is bathed and adorned, Snata Vipushita, and she is called for, Ahuta, she is called for by the queen of Vraj. Vrajapaya, that means, Vrajapaya means by the queen of Vraj, through her Sakis, Saki Bhi. She then cooks in Yashoda's house. That's Vihitana, what is it? Vihitana, what is it in here? Vihitana Paka Rachanam. So she cook, and Tadgehe means, sorry, Tadgehe, yeah, means in her house. So she then cooks in Yashoda's house and eats the remnants of Krishna. She Ashana Avashesh Krishna. So Krishna Avasheshashana. So that's what Srimati Radhika is doing in this early morning period, Prage, or Pratakale. Now, Krishna, similarly, Krishna awakens. He goes to the cowshed. Krishna awakens. Buddham is awakens. He goes to the cowshed. Avapta go sadhanam. He completes the milking of the cows. What was that? That was nirvyuda go dohanam. He is well bathed and eats. Oh, sorry, and it's avapta dhenu sadhanam, right? Yeah, it's avapta dhenu sadhanam. I said. So then he is well bathed. He's susnata, and he eats along with his companions. What is that? Krita bhojanam sahacharai. He eats along with his sahachar, with his friends, his associates. So tang chata tang chashraye. So tang, I take ashray, I take shelter of her, tang, and of tum, him. I take shelter of her and him. Now, Śrīla Bhakti Thakur's song on this. Radha Snata Vibhushita Shri Yashoda Samahuta Sakhi Sange Targrihe Gamana Tata Virachana Shri Krishna Vasheshashana Madhya Madhya Duhara Milana Krishna Nidra Parihare Koshte Godohana Kori Snana Shana Sahachara Sange E Lila Chinta Koro Nama Preme Gara Gara Prate Bhakta Jana Sange Range E lila chinta ar koro sankirtana, achire paibe tumi bhava uddipana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai all the associates of, sorry, yeah, all the associates of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swapasha Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Binda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi, Jai Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, His Bhajan Hasya Ki Jai, Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Gosai Par Ki Jai, His Chaitanya Charitamrita and Govinda Lilamrita Ki Jai, Jai Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyaya Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi, Satyavatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, Niri Haribo, Bhavatharani Mataji, Champak Mataji, and all the devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook, Raseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, uh, Ganga Mataji, Shasharamaji, Vidyalala Sadidi, and everybody else. Also pronounce all devotees watching in the future, Shachi Devi, Jayade Prabhu, Revati Didi, and Manjari Didi, Haribo. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow to read about Raghunandan Thakur, Vangshidas Babaji Maharaj, and we will complete reading this biography of Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Jai Shri Radhe. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream? Okay, see you tomorrow. Haribo.